And then I basically just um like had I not gotten into like a business kind of relationship with these people, like it probably wouldn't have been
Uh,
as 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 much of
it's
a
bad.
deal. It wouldn't have
Yeah.
been as yeah, it wouldn't have been as much of a problem, but I did. So that made things stranger. But I'm so after a couple of times of this happening, I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to myself on.
You call it trusting your gut? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I gotta learn to do that too.
Intuitive intelligence.
Mm.
I actually teach this on my course. Like,
Oh, right.
yeah, like I'm going through like I'm on week 6 now with like a group, and like on week 7, which is the crown, that is intuitive intelligence. Um and that's how learning to use your intuition and the body, because we're so
Yeah.
disconnected from the body that
Yeah.
we 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 struggle to use discernment because we're so in the mind. We've actually got
Yeah,
so many senses.
I I know what you mean, because we have language and we have reason, but we also have emotion, and like there's this whole complex unspoken language that can reveal so much about the other person. Like, isn't it 70% of all communication is nonverbal? And that's just not even delving into anything spiritual. That's just empirical evidence. And then um, to be able to listen to your emotional uh, 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 your ability to understand emotion, and understand what people are really like, to read people, even in business. Like, if you can really understand someone, you know whether they're bluffing, you know whether they're gonna um, you know as with Ross, if Ross said, if you're in a business relationship, you really need to know these things before you get swindled or you get um, uh, given the raw deal. So, I mean, that's very important.
How
And even if
yeah,
yeah,
I was going to say, Ross, how did that play out? Have you become more discerning with it?
oh, is he there? I think he may have.
I guess.
Oh yeah.
Um, um, I encountered a person that was like that in Cleveland, but the other two people were in Los Angeles. Um, I think moving may have helped.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know I knew a person as well. Um, I can share that with you guys if you want. Um, he was a school friend, and he just seemed to know things about me. Like, for example, I eventually told him, because I was engaged. I finally got engaged just a long time ago, and I said, "Phil, I've got something to tell you." And the first thing he said was, "You're engaged." How do you know this? How do you even know this? And he told me why he knew. It was not a very nice story, but when he was really young, his dad would come in drunk, and he would have to know in the first 5 seconds whether to run or whether to say hello. Because the dad would just come and beat him. So he developed this instinct. It's like he can just read people. And he wasn't smart. He wasn't like a academic or anything, but he was so able to know things about people. And I was so, and I had no sense of that. I couldn't understand it. And I just remember we would have conversations over the phone, and I would just remember saying, Phil, you need to have your own talkback show. You just know what to say. You just know exactly what people are feeling. This is a skill. And he goes, nah, Roy. But still, that it just keeps blowing me away how he knows things.
Yeah.
Actually, the person in Cleveland,
Yep.
like I did not have this intuition about him when I met him. It's just like things were going great, and then all of a sudden he just started like changing his story and like, you know, being really weird and like saying stuff to other people about me. Like all of a sudden it was like, wait, what? And then after that, I kind of looked back and I was like, so I don't think that like the things that he said were, he really like talked
Genuine.
himself up a lot. And then like in retrospect, I was like, you know what? Like I've seen, you know, he says like, oh, he's so great at lighting, you know, and I've seen videos and in person of what he does with lighting, and I'm like, it's not that great. And so I just think that like he's just like potentially a narcissist and a liar and but like the thing that like it was common interests that
kept you together.
Well, I mean that's what initially like, well, that and my friend who is usually really good at reading people said like, oh, you guys have common interests, you should like, you know, you should talk, you should meet and whatever. And she didn't know, she didn't detect something about him, but I thought that because he was really good at reading people that he was trustworthy. And but yeah, you know, common interest, I mean, that's genuine, whether or not he had actual, you know, much skill in what he said. But it, you know, I went to his house and he appeared to, you know, have some skills, but I don't think that it was really to the level that he was talking about. But then he started like, you know, he said, I want you to like, you know, do the show with me. And then he told this other person, oh, well, I never told him I wanted to do the show with me. I'm like, I went to his apartment and my name was like on the list of like the crew. So I knew like, you know, I didn't photograph it or anything, but yeah. But the other two people in Cleveland, I was just like,
I just want to just add, can you imagine, I mean, I think we could train AIs to become sensitive to this stuff. I mean, there must be, yeah, can you imagine an AI could tell you what other people are thinking? You know, everything from, you know, friends and colleagues who are doing something sinister, or whether, like, even something as basic as, I remember when I was younger, you know, does she like you? You have no idea, like, you know, you have no idea what's going on because you can't read the situation, or is this, in business or in a relationship. And then you look back and then there's so many times. I think AI that is trained in this would be so invaluable to so many people, because so many people are blind to it. I'm pretty much blind to it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, now I'm aware that I'm blind.
The thing, so many people believe their own lies, and like the mind as an intelligence, but I don't just use the mind. So like the heart, like I'm more like guided by the heart. So like if there was an AI that done that, if it was biased to like the brain wave frequencies? Like, could that resonate? Did that connect with what else is happening? Because my information is not just here, well, all of us, but I know I use the heart, and if I was to think of like narcissists that I've experienced that wear masks, like they believe their own lies, like so like is that
Yeah.
coming into play? Would it be cool?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, there was oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know that saying "love is blind"? I didn't know what that meant. And then I learned the hard way. I know now why people say love is blind, and that's because you can be so in love with someone, so utterly in love, you'll never think anything bad about them because it's painful to think something bad about someone. And I found out the hard way about something, and when something bad happened between us, then I saw everything that other people were pointing out about this person that I refused to see. And then that really opened my eyes to, you got to be careful who you love, because love is blind in many ways. So,
Wow.
yeah, we can believe our own lies, like, as you said, because, if you, like, you would, like, for example, have you ever heard yourself say, "Oh, you don't know her like I know her. Oh, she would never do that." Reverse it off. He would never do that to me. That's all you think about. Oh, he'll never do that to me. And that's what you'll just won't think of it through. Whereas other people will think it through and they'll connect the dots. And you can't do that when you're in love with someone.
Wow. Wonder if the AI could be on yourself then, like to help train you discernment.
To ask the questions that you wouldn't ask yourself.
Yeah.
Play devil's advocate. Oh, wouldn't that be a helpful AI?
Wow. I mean, it could ask you, right, it could ask you a question, and then you could provide an answer, and it could actually evaluate how you provide the answer. And then it could say, you don't actually believe what you're saying.
It reminds me of that War of the Worlds. When Tom Cruise's character, he's playing ball with his older kid, and he tries to throw the ball really hard, and it goes through the window. And then his younger sister, who is in tune with what's going on, she says, "That's not how you're going to get through to him." So instantly, it's like the AI. It's like it can read the situation and go, "Look, you're going down a path. I know you're trying to do something good, but it's not working. Try this, try that." And
the AI could be like, "You're just trying to convince yourself of what you're saying, but you don't really
there's
believe
so many
it."
mind traps. Yeah. You don't believe it because because I've done that so many times. I've convinced myself that this is the way I want to go, and it's completely wrong. You might take a friend sitting down with you for coffee and going, "Look, do you really think this through?" Blah, blah, blah. There's just so many mind traps. And maybe we can talk to the rest of the team about this.
Yeah.
Especially Dr. Thompson. Yeah.
I've got a funny name. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be called this, but I'm like, it's a bullshit bot. To call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Oh, man.
To help you tap into your discernment.
It's just my mind's. I'm just thinking of so many things at the moment. I just don't know what to say. But yeah, so he doesn't have the AI. What would you call this field? Because everyone's talking about general intelligence, artificial general intelligence. What would you call this? Artificial emotional intelligence, or maybe, I don't know. That's a whole other type of intelligence, intuitive intelligence.
Be the intuitive intelligence.
There is a field of computing, and at the MIT Media Lab, they call it affective computing.
Because then some people might say, I mean, you know, you might say something but mean something else. And if an AI can pick that up, it can become more caring, more subtle. You know, like telling, hey Google, I'm not interested in that, Google. Or you know, the way you say things to the computer, it might read between the lines. Well,
It's really good at reading faces too.
Oh, faces as well. Gosh,
Which is interesting
body
because,
language.
I mean, you would think that humans would be a little bit better about reading faces. Now we're really good at recognizing faces, so much so that we see faces in clouds and in tree knots and on rocks and everything like that.
There's something you should know about our facial recognition. It doesn't work upside down. So if you turn a face upside down, your facial recognition ability drops by like 80%, 90%.
Wow.
Yeah, you should try that. Because also, when they were training the AI model to recognize faces, they noticed that when they turned it upside down, it dropped. And we do the same thing. You know, if you turn a face upside down, it's barely recognized. So that's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Even famous people, you get a famous person, flip it upside down, you won't know who the famous person is until you flip it up the right way and you go, oh, that's Chris Hemsworth. Can't recognize Chris Hemsworth upside down. Yeah, maybe you can, but I don't know. I have yet to test that thoroughly. I just remember that in passing. Yeah. But it's a good point, you know, facial recognition, body language, the tone of voice, and then there's the whole intention. You know, you've made a certain number of claims and facts, and what does it all mean? Are you trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes? Are you using?
There's so much manipulation, right? Isn't there? Even in like marketing and business and like imagine if you could just have something that just helped you literally see through it. Because we all wear masks.
Wow.
We're all wearing these different masks. And sometimes we're not conscious that, like, you know, this mask is, and it's unconscious. But for the sakes of like people that live with an open heart, like all of us, and I'm the same as you, like I put everyone in a good box until they showed me the red flags with it, and it's, you know, and it's still learning to be discerning. But imagine if you could help you do that, because there's so much like scamming and manipulation, and that'd be really powerful.
I think that would be one of the first AIs I would want as an assistant. Someone to go, you know, that business meeting went well. Well, did you realize that they might be thinking this or that? That would be just so.
I just got goosebumps actually, and you just said that.
I saw an episode of Dr. Phil where he had a body language expert analyzing something, and they were pointing out like, oh, well, you were looking, you know, you were looking up because you were trying to access information, or like you were looking down, or you were staring at the person because you were overcompensating because you were lying, but you were trying so hard to appear genuine, then you didn't like look away or blink like you normally would if you were relaxed and really telling the truth, and you were like staring them down and trying to convince them so much that you were telling the truth that like that's a tell. So.
Yeah, Well, there's two things in that. One is there are tells. You know, when someone, especially in poker, if you have a tell, you unconsciously may reveal that you have a good hand because you might always do this when you have a good hand. Yeah, things like that. And then the second thing is, forgot. Sorry, but yeah, while you were saying that, exactly. There's so much evidence to show that this is really something that you could really tap into. Yeah.
Wow.
If I remember what I was going to say, I'll say. I can't remember.
We started off talking about intuition.
Oh yeah.
Just, yeah, intuition and greater powers than us.
Yeah.
And the light is winning.
It's a greater power than us, and it might help us.
Yeah. Synchronicity.
Sorry. Oh, I was just going to say, I remember now. So you know how you look up to the right when you're accessing. Apparently, we look up to the right to access like an episode, and we look up to the left to access people or something like that. And if you're left-handed, you actually, that's switched around. If you're left-handed, you look up left to access whatever it is, and you look up right. So it is interesting that everyone will look in the same direction when we're accessing that stuff. Like, if you think, what did you do last week? I must be looking this way. So, I mean, I'm left-handed, so I don't know if you guys will probably look that way. But it's all these things. It's amazing. It's amazing to see that there's that much information left on the table.
Well, I also there's augmented reality in the story that I'm working on, and so I think it's pretty interesting. The idea of somebody looking in a certain direction to like access information, you could actually make that literal with AR.
Oh yeah, you could leverage that. If you look at the top left, it'll be, oh, you must be, if the paperclip comes out, you must be trying to think of something in your past. Oh, here's your, calendar for the last year.
Right.
Wow.
Because I actually I done a Reiki session on Sunday with a really powerful woman too, and on it, when I touched the right hand, I looked up and I could see. I almost felt like it was someone coming through, but I couldn't distinguish like who it was. Like it was someone coming through the light. And then when I went on a left hand, right hand, I seen like two numbers, which was 71. And when we come out of the session, she was like, yeah, that was definitely me nan. And 71, she has it on her hands, and she was like, that was me uncle. So like it was so interesting because I've not had that before. You've just said that, give me that information, which connects with an experience that I've just had. So wow, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, my mind's drawing blank. Sorry. I'll come back in a minute and just remember what I was going to say. But yeah.
Samantha, did you say that you were like doing a psychic reading?
A Reiki session, but it kind of
Reiki, yeah.
Reiki, yeah. But it kind of is. I've learned that my superpower when it comes to doing that work is making the client medium. So giving you a direct experience rather than me telling you. Yeah, does that make sense? So like I facilitate the connection, and then I guide, clear the energy to allow it to come through. And then I do a bit of a guide meditation for you to like meet your guide or meet your messenger. And then afterward, afterwards we'll discuss it. But there's been a couple of times that my clients met with past loved ones, which has not been my intention, but it's just happened through our session. So yeah, I just love exploring like we are really, really powerful, and we're only tapping into like a percentage of how powerful we are as human beings. We're so focused on the physical that we forget that we've got access to all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally
So much
what
potential.
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I wish I remember. I was gonna. You were talking about. Anyway. So we really talked about a lot of stuff. So if I don't remember this, that's all. It's all good.
Not a problem. Shall I pull a card for us to finish it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll pull a card for us. A little intimate.
Yeah.
Does anyone have, or you know what, I'll invite you to ask a question, but maybe you can ask it like intuitively. Like you don't even have to share it. And then
I automatically looked up this way, so I don't know.
okay, but like maybe an area you would like a little bit of guidance with, and even for anyone watching the replay, this will be a collective message for all of us.
I want. Can it be about someone else, or it has to be about me? I hope Anurag is
What
doing
about
well.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I hope Anurag is doing well because he's dealing with something major right now.
Okay. I'll check in with him as well. Oh, that just flew off. Okay. This so we've got this card come up called listen. So I love this card, by the way, because look at his hair. So on this card, his hair is the psychic antenna, and then you can see these frequencies.
Yeah.
Radio station. So when this comes out, this is like, it's so interesting how we started the conversation by saying I wanted to be a little bit more in touch with the intuition. This is saying you're not, and there's not enough space or time, like there's not enough space created for you to receive the guidance. And that comes through quietening the mind and listening to the subtle whispers. And this will come in our conversation today. It might come in a song on the radio. It might come on a marketing campaign. Listen and observe the information that comes forward to you. This is about not listening to the ego and really tuning into that inner sense of knowing. I've never really noticed this before on this card, but I'm seeing this like it's almost like a metal chamber, like a gateway here, and it's like an amethyst is protecting it on his heart, and that is the gateway. So it's like, this is where your power is, in this area. Listen to the heart intelligence, not just the mind, and trust that this frequency is everywhere. And so how are you going to tune your vessel, which is like the radio station or the radio, and your energy from what you choose to focus on, whether that's meditation, whether that's connect with nature, whether that's asking specific questions to your guides. That's you turning the dial to your station. But we must be open to receive the information so that it can come back and forward. And sometimes we are already getting the information, but because we're literally not looking at it, the mind's too clouded, it can't come in. And it doesn't come in very loud, it will come in with little subtle whispers, and then little niggles that you've been thinking about, them little niggles. Listen to that little niggle It wants to be heard and it wants to be seen, and it doesn't have to get really extreme and really painful if you listen to it now. This is a bit of
Yeah.
a wake-up call, this cards as well, to say like, we are sending information. We just need you to be the receptive and the receiver of it, and to allow the space for it to come in. And find a little bit more balance, the two. And two can be about collaboration and opportunities. You'll definitely find more balance in your life. All of us.
That makes
This
sense.
is a message for all of us, by the way.
Yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
yeah.
I definitely need more balance. Mm.
And when you create more balance, you allow more guidance.
Yeah.
So I've found some story structures that I can use to sequence the plot in my story, and give it dramatic structure. And I'm also writing a song.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Very good.
To hear the song, have you got like a little taster or like any anything we can tune into?
Yeah. So I might yeah. Okay, so here is when I've been working on the beat, I'm basically adding Roy, I was saying that when I've been working on the beat,
Yep.
I'm basically adding all of the layers initially, and then what I'm going to do is listen to multiple tracks, and I'm going to like mute certain tracks at certain times. Like a song, like it doesn't have all the parts at all at the same time. But I'll just give you a here's okay. Can you hear that?
By the way, Anuraj is here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi,
sweet.
guys. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I've been there's too much going on in life right here. Unfortunately, lost my grandma yesterday.
Oh, sorry.
In hospital. I was with her just a few minutes before she passed away. But she led a good life. She went away peacefully. 95 years old. So I just came back from the funeral directors in the last 2 hours. So yeah, it's just been getting everything organized, right now.
What was her name, Anraj? I will like to kind
Yeah, Avnash Gambhir.
Okay. I'm sending you all so much love.
Sorry, yeah, it's Avnash Gambhir is the name. Avnash. But yeah, it's I spent so much time with her, actually, a lot of my childhood, and then she moved to Australia in 1988, lived nearby with my parents. So yeah, we had a very close relationship. She unfortunately had a fall last week, in was it Thursday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then my dad called an ambulance, and then she was in emergency, and she'd been frail, and been through a few medical things, but was getting better, but never, just when age just got to her, but she went peacefully, which is the main thing. Yeah.
No, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Donna, thanks. I know we just have to, overcome the grief and the, um, know that everybody is going to be in a happy place, and we're eternal. So it's only this temporary body that we have is what left, but the journey is always continuing. So yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Mm.
it's okay to like be here now and feel and and yeah, and sending lots of love.
Thank you. We've just been inundated with so many people because she had so many fans and so many people she influenced, and friends and family. So been busy all day and didn't sleep much last night. Yeah, I had a good catch up with Roy yesterday morning. It was so nice. Then was planning anyway to go meet grandma, but it was so lucky that we managed to be there, and she smiled and enjoyed the mango that my dad fed her the food, and then I fed her mango, and I left from the hospital. 10 minutes later I got a call from dad, so we all rushed. So yeah, it was unexpected, but when life's calling comes, it's so funny. Actually, I was watching such a good documentary last 2 days ago called Heal, which I'd seen before. I was telling Roy, I think, about it. Yeah, have you guys seen it? Heal, HEAL, on Netflix. It's got all the top guys like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden. Who else is the Deepak Chopra? Really good collection on wellness and well-being overall.
I've heard of it.
So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to change the mood. I know, Ross, you were playing some nice music there.
Yeah.
What was that about? Tell me.
Yeah. So I wrote a song. So I'm gonna tweak it a little bit more. But basically the beat that you heard is all of the percussion parts playing simultaneously. There's no like bass line or like arpeggios yet. But this parts of this are gonna like drop out at different times. But here's the lyrics as it is so far. Can you hear me still? You can hear me over the music? Okay.
Music's a bit dim.
Mediated reality. Senses 3 brains filtering unseen. Vibrations are reflected in a relative way. Cymatic foundries of particle and wave.
That's great. That sounds catchy.
Hive mind, data mind, overlay blinders, pop-up tribes, mind's eyes, externalize, visualize, crossing the divide.
Very midnight oily.
Nice.
Navigating models of environments, leaving out pieces, projecting out the rest. Visible spectrum, auditory range, signal noise ratios and sample rates, senses sensitivity, setting state save, bandwidth for trauma and karma is displaced. Hive mind, data mind, overlay blinders, pop-up tribes, mind's eyes, externalize, finding your cyber tribe.
extended reality contacts can procreate collective vision, augmented media contracts, pay you for the data you give them. Just realize who decides what's a hack or feeding back.
That's great. By the way,
Thanks.
was there music? I think that the mic was muting the music because we could hear you, but it was, the beat was, I think it was treating the beat as background noise for the most part.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, there's so part of what relates to the story is there's augmented reality, and some people want to use it to basically use it for collective visioning, to co-create and manifest things that people are interested in, and
Have you uploaded it to BandLab?
not yet. And
Yeah.
another group is interested in kind of like basically analyzing your data in a social kind of media context, and they're very open about it, and they're paying people for their data, but ultimately it asks the question, in a world where everything is considered cybercrime, what is cyber justice, and what is the effect on this whole system when we return to the original conception of what cyber really means. Plato said, he talks about so in book 4 of the Republic, Socrates proceeds to search for wisdom, courage, and temperance in the city, on the grounds that justice will be easier to discern in what remains. They find wisdom among the guardian rulers, courage among the guardian warriors or auxiliaries. I don't know if guardian is the right, well, it's the guardian rulers. I don't know if guardian warriors is correct, but he finds courage among the warriors or auxiliaries, which is basically the enforcers of the laws, and temperance amongst all classes of the city. There's basically the remaining classes is like the workers or what he calls the merchants, among all classes of the city, and agreeing about who should rule and who should be ruled. Finally, Socrates defines justice in the city as the state in which each class performs only its own work, not meddling in the work of the other classes. The virtues discovered in the city are then sought in the individual soul. For this purpose, Socrates creates an analogy between the parts of the city and the soul. He argues that psychological conflict points to a divided soul, since a completely unified soul cannot behave in opposite ways towards the same object at the same time and in the same respect. He gives examples of possible conflicts between the rational, spirited, and appetitive parts of the soul, corresponding to the rulers, auxiliaries, and producing classes in the city. Having established the tripartite soul, Socrates defines the virtues of the individual. A person is wise if he is ruled by the part of the soul that knows, quote, what is beneficial for each part and for the whole, end quote. Courageous if his spirited part, quote, preserves in the midst of pleasures and pains, end quote, the decisions reached by the rational part, and temperate if the three parts agree that the rational part lead. They are just if each part of the soul attends to its function and not the function of the other. it follows from this definition that one cannot be just if one doesn't have the other cardinal virtues. So basically, I'm looking at the form of the good, the form of justice, and you know, cyber. Oh, bye, Roy. Ciao. Yeah, basically this in the Ship of State, Plato talks about how the state or an individual is like a ship, and then the pilot of a ship is the Kybernetes, which is where we get the word cyber and governor from, and government from. So I'm really just, you know, I've been doing this research for 15 years. Now I'm basically doing like a cyberpunk kind of story where I'm saying, well, cyber really means that people basically follow their soul path. and the same thing with the city, you know, and then they use good judgment and choosing the right methods of governing for the right situation. And that applies to, you know, any you know, body that's being governed, as well as the individual. So it really relates cyber, soul, and government, and justice, and so there's parts of that song that touch on it. The beginning of the song talks about how you know, we're already living in a mediated reality. We always are. You know, humankind always has, because our senses, you know, only have a certain range. You know, our eyes can only pick up certain parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. And you know, our brain is constantly filtering out information and basically throwing a lot of it out, and also filling in things and projecting. You know, we have this reality, you know, talk about like augmented reality, you know, like projecting or virtual reality, like you're projecting like this reality out in front of you. Well, that's what our brains are doing all the time. We're creating a model of reality. We're taking, you know, our eyes are taking things that are light that's reflected. That's basically light that's, you know, something that looks red looks red because the wavelengths of red are basically reflected or rejected
Right.
from that item. So you know, just like looking in like a kind of cyberpunk sci-fi kind of context, where like it's a very popular subject to talk about augmented reality and mediated reality and mixed reality. And you know, I'm saying like we're always living. You know, our ancestors have always lived in an augmented, mediated reality. This is nothing new.
Right. So that's why the metaverse is just a rebringing of a new thinking, you know, I mean, of an old thinking rather. So it's just you know, a repurposing of what has been known in multiple realities and realms that we can operate in.
Yes.
And just projected in using a new medium of technology. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's going good.
Yeah, no, I loved your song there. I think, yeah, with
Thank
the
you.
music, once you get it right, because we couldn't hear it properly earlier, but your wordings were really good. I love the, yeah, you put some good techie type elements in there. It was nice. Love to, yeah, rehear it properly when my mind's a bit more focused. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right on. I'm gonna keep working on it. I have a couple of musical, I have a lot of musical friends locally, actually, and I've shared this with a few of them, and they're all really excited about it. So I'm working on that simultaneously. I have some story structure that's going to help me pace, set up my plot and like pace it and put certain things in a certain order.
Great.
And I'm looking at I'm still wondering what the length is going to be. If I do a short story, it's easier for people to digest. If I do an audio book that's 2 hours or less, it's digestible. And I kind of have like 3 sort of books almost.
Oh, very good. That's lovely. So what did I miss out earlier? What were you guys discussing? Was Roy just on, or were there other people on today, Samantha?
Yeah, it was just Roy actually.
Okay.
Roy and Ross.
Yeah, I know we haven't had much of a agenda also as much, but it's been good catch up with everybody, at least whoever can get on, and
Yeah.
we'll come back to, I know I'm still recovering or, healing from my eyes,
There's
which
a
is
lot
my left eye is at least a little bit better, but I'm taking things very easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, when this thing happened yesterday, obviously it set me back a little more with, being away from work related stuff. So I've got a lot of things to catch up on, I suppose. But it's the end of the year, and yeah, that's life.
You can only
We were talking about intuition and how AI could potentially enhance our intuition.
Really? Oh, okay. That's
Uh-huh.
pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
through things like emotion and being able to like, sometimes we lie to ourselves. We convince ourselves of something. And what if
Yep.
we could use AI to like help us and analyze ourselves and be like, no, you don't really believe that.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can do a reality check on us. Yeah, that's right.
Things like facial body language
Yeah.
and voice reading, and yeah, check yourself.
Yep.
See
That's all
how,
good.
and that's,
That-
I mean, actually that's, that would be so key because, we have these beliefs, we have these subconsciously held beliefs, and they affect our choices throughout life, and a lot of these are maybe like 80% of them or something, or at least 60% are like it's like stuff that we picked up before age, up until age 6, stuff that we pick up from our environment and family, and it affects how we make decisions in our life, and we don't even realize it. And so if we could have a mirror, a wise mirror that we could look into, and that could help us dive into our subconscious and our subconsciously held beliefs, and help us realize what is actually driving a lot of our behaviors, then that would be extremely powerful. We would actually gain self-mastery, and like Plato says, we would be able to rule ourselves from the navigation aspect of the pilot.
True. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think, imagine we tune in into our into the wise mirror to get a self prognosis or a approach of really looking at your deeper self, and projecting what's the right path to take, for you. So it's like a crystal ball, and yet it's a mirror, right? So you can combine a crystalline mirror. Oh, there we go. Some interesting thinking there. So potentially we should. What do you think, Samantha?
I love it because the mirror we there's already techie mirrors out that can do so much, but I use my own mirror daily as, to do the mirror work. I talk with myself and get a different
Right.
perspective. But if you could have a mirror that's not got your your limiting beliefs, and that can actually like sense things like your tone, your body language, your facial movements, your micro movements,
Yeah.
and give you another perspective on your own shadow and the different masks that you might be wearing. I was joking before, and I called it like a bullshit bot, so that you could like not believe your own lies, or
Yeah.
be more discerning.
Mm.
I wonder if there's
I
any.
like that. You said give you another perspective on your own shadow. That's awesome.
Is there anything like that out there? Does anyone know?
What?
Is there anything like that already? Or
I mean, they're smart mirrors, but they are more to give you information, and like they've got an integrated screen in them, which is giving you up to date, say, weather, or how well you're brushing your teeth, or your health vitals in real time. So that's what I've looked at a few ideas around kind of smart home and say smart bathrooms, and the mirror was definitely a key part of it, which is as you first thing you brush your teeth, you're able to sort of get a self-reflection. And but yeah, I think we're talking at a whole new level here, which will be so interesting. Yeah. And I think combining that crystalline mirror concept would be wow. We should
wow, and
definitely explore this. Yeah.
the border was made out of like anthemis or rose
Mm.
quartz.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be a quantum mirror.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow,
And
we could actually
AI
create
is really got to be the main embedded technology. So it automatically connects all the different dots from your health and vitals through your wellness, and then looks at you. Imagine if you're able to do your aura analysis with that also. So it's looking deeper within you. And
and you can do that. You can get like little cameras that, because I've had my aura captured a few times.
Oh, that's right. In fact, I was just reactivating my Withings or Nokia, which is the scales, or the that's again for the bathroom, and then because that looks at obviously beyond your weight, it's giving you a lot of other other features. And I'm just looking at my app here, my BMI, body fat, body water, bone mass, muscle mass, and then you could also integrate it with other health data and parameters. So I mean, there's so much out there already that you can integrate with a lot of the wearables and this tech, and then all that can be presented through the smart mirror, the one I was earlier mentioning. But yeah, beyond that, if you can combine these new features, it would be amazing. That'll be the wise mirror. Exactly. That'll be it's the smart mirror plus plus.
Yeah, I love that. And it could play tunes as well.
Maybe
And
that's what the universe is calling for us, because we need to tune into that now. Yeah. So, I think,
100%.
let's create that as a concept. Yeah, I'm going to get a bit of time, and then let's document this and brainstorm further on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's something really in the song creation, like like creating music. Like I know you're doing yours on your own personal project, but I almost feel like there could be a wise mirror song transcend, because I know storytelling's a big part of the direction. And I do believe that music is how we transcend, and we all, we forget everything that's going on, and we get to not be in a space of like no time.
That's where the AI can play from the wise mirror, well, from the literal mirror, but it'll have integrated acoustics and thing, and it'll play the right music depending on the context, the right mood and everything. So look at your facial recognition and all parameters, and then you customize the music that's playing from there. Yeah, totally. Wow.
I love that. That's so exciting. I'm
Yeah.
actually doing a vision board this week, so I'm gonna put a smart mirror on it,
Yeah.
on my
That'd be
vision board.
great. Sure.
That's so good.
Great.
Well,
Cool. Yep.
I'm sending you so much love, Anraj. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to support you.
No, thank you. Thank you. I've already, been trying to be strong and just working on things now and, getting on with what needs to be done in the physical world. And obviously, deep within it's sending healing and all the energy of overcoming grief and all that. So I'm so glad I saw Heal, um, you know, just 2 days ago, or in fact finished it only yesterday morning. It was amazing. And actually, somehow my grandmother came in my dreams yesterday morning or early in the morning, and I remembered it. And
Hmm.
it was amazing. And then, and then her passing away like that in a very peaceful manner. It's just very hard.
Interesting.
When you talk about intuition and this thing, you really had this. And you won't believe, even my dad, he was about to get up and go because she fell asleep, but he stayed on and continued with some prayers because I'd gone by then, and he stayed on. And then suddenly she got up and took one last breath, and her hands shook, and my dad thought she'd gone unconscious, so he quickly ran, got all the doctors and nurses and everybody, and then they checked and said, yeah, we're sorry, no heartbeat. So but he was there till the very moment with which he was about to get up and go. But it's something he was telling us that something, he went to the door about to leave, but then he said, no, let me just stay a few more minutes and finish off this prayer and do that. It was just forces which was guiding.
Wow.
Amazing.
And she visited you in your dream.
Yeah, she came in my dream when she was much younger, and we were like maybe I was a little boy, I think, that time. And it's hard to remember all the vivid details, but it was just a very happy dream, I remember.
If try and write that dream down or document it, a voice.
I try to remember.
Yeah, we all know that's not just a dream.
Oh yeah, so
Oh,
true.
wow. Wow. Much love.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Well, I'm glad I made it here to see you guys, and I feel more at peace, and really thank you guys. We're just so glad with the Wise Mirror family we have, and so lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so if you want to continue, otherwise we'll wrap up and see you next week.
I'm talking to some people about trying to project onto a lighthouse,
All right.
a local lighthouse.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Wow.
Yes.
Jeez, wow.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Around the whole surface. Wow, that'll be a really cool image projection.
Yeah, I'm talking to this past week I've been talking to I'm tomorrow too, I'm talking to people about things for this winter and next summer. There's 4 years ago there was the first front festival, and they called it a triennial, and the intention was to have a triennial, and it was postponed. It was going to happen, I think, this year. But so it's going to happen 4 years later. The second one is going to be 4 years later. It's going to happen next year, and it's basically an international, local, national, and international art event, and they're trying to figure out how to include local artists. And I met somebody they're a fellow for this festival, and that's their task, is to involve local artists. So I think there's going to be some projecting video, and I'm starting to look into doing lasers. There's some it's not exactly a license, but it's similar to show that you can operate these things safely. So there's a process, and so then the lighthouse projection wouldn't even be until mid next September.
Mhm.
So by then I think I should have enough time to get this certification and rent a laser, and I think the certification will be good for 2 years, and so I could potentially rent a laser for a month or a week. And as I learn how to do it and set it up, I could actually rent it for, the first time I might want to rent it for a month, get familiar with it,
Mhm.
and then I could, potentially just rent it for a week for the event that I need it for. So I'm starting to look into that
That's cool.
Very good.
in addition to the video. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, guys, I'll take off now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely
Thanks. Take care.
day, night. Okay.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Bye.